want to talk to you all today about the ethics of telling other people's stories, particularly those people who might be on the shorter end of the global power dynamic scale. We tell stories of people in poverty all the time in the field that I'm in human rights and global development. A couple of months ago in July, I was in Rwanda, and I managed to visit a number of organizations that I've supported through my work in the States, but had never yet visited. And I met a number of people who surprised and engaged me in ways that I never would have known. I visited a coffee farm, for example, a coffee farm 2 hours south of Kigali in the south of the country that was run by a women's collective. Now, these women are mostly widows or survivors of the genocide of 1994. And when I met them, they were explaining to me how they farmed, how they met their challenges, how they managed to make this successful and profitable, sometimes with the help of government financing, also US financing. And when I met with them, first of all, they called me Mzunga, which means foreigner in a not so great way, because as we were walking up and down the farms, I, in my Western hiking shoes, could make it up the hill, where they were going up and down really fast in flip-flops, because they were used to it. When I met with them and started listening to them, I had no idea what to say. I was completely tongue-tied. Now, I'm a storyteller. That's what I do for a living, right? I've spent the last decade putting together projects. I run a company looking at how you push the boundaries of transmedia storytelling, cross-platform storytelling, single-platform storytelling to advance human rights and global development. And yet, when I met with them, the gulf of experience between me and them, the New York strategist and these farmers, these women, these survivors, the gulf of experience was so wide that it completely silenced me. And I started thinking, it was a reminder to me of something that I've always known, I suppose, is that the basis of storytelling in the humanitarian fields, the basis of ethical storytelling, is humility and empathy, right? Humility and empathy. And often we lose that. There is a trend, right, that has been going on for 50, 60 years in the humanitarian field and development and human rights of the savior trap narrative, right, where we think that we can save people. We think that we have the answers. We think we're the ones who are the heroes. And that's the way we frame our narratives, and that's the way we frame our programs as well. But this has to stop, right? That's never been true. We've never been the saviors. And it's never been more true than now when we do have this ability through communications technologies and through just personal connections to be able to form stories, to be able to form programs that are much more in partnership and in collaboration. And ethical storytelling now, courageous storytelling now, takes that into account. That those women who ran that coffee farm didn't need me to save them. They didn't need anybody to save them. What they needed and what they were asking for is to be listened to and to have their stories amplified, right? And there's an opportunity in this to amplify their stories, to amplify the stories of the poor and the marginalized and people who are coming into markets. There's an opportunity for all of us because it's the way forward for global prosperity. And I think we need to start looking at that. We need to explore that as storytellers. Back to Rwanda for a quick second. I went to visit, if you've ever been there, there's a place called the Nyamata Genocide Church Memorial. It's a place where tens of thousands of people were massacred in one time. And when you walk in, imagine just there's rows and rows and rows of clothing on the pews of the people who are massacred. It is a place that hits you in the stomach like a boulder, and you're never going to leave there unaffected. The woman who guided us through the memorial was a survivor herself. She had lost her entire family to the genocide. And again, when I was talking to her, I was rendered silent, this time from just the sadness in my throat. And all she asked us, she said, I'm very glad that you're here, because it's the people that are coming from outside of our country that can tell our story, so that we should never forget. And I had to connect with her somehow, even though I had no words for this experience. I had to connect with her somehow. So all I did, I thought it was lame at the time, but I said, "What is your name?" And that stopped her, because no one had ever asked her, "What is your name?" Her name was Seraphine, and I'm here to tell you her story so that we should never forget. And even though I still don't have the words, I know that we all bear that responsibility to tell those stories. Thanks.